The power of mindset is one of the most significant factors that determine our success or failure in life. It is the foundation upon which every decision, every action, and every outcome is built. Our mindset shapes how we interpret events, how we respond to challenges, and ultimately how we move forward in life. The way we see ourselves and the world around us influences not just our confidence, but our ability to take risks, grow, and achieve our full potential. Think about this. Two people can experience the exact same situation and yet come away with completely different outcomes simply because of how they perceive it. One person sees failure as an indication that they are not good enough, while another sees it as an opportunity to learn and improve. This difference in perception is not about intelligence, talent, or luck. It is about mindset. A fixed mindset sees abilities as limited and unchangeable, while a growth mindset understands that abilities can be developed with effort and persistence. The good news is that mindset is not something you are born with. It is something you can shape and strengthen over time. Most of us are conditioned from an early age to believe that success is tied to talent and intelligence. We hear phrases like, "she's just naturally gifted," or "he's always been smart," as if ability is something that is set in stone. But research has shown that our brains are capable of remarkable change and growth through effort and experience. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, means that we can learn, adapt, and improve throughout our lives. This is why some of the most successful people in the world are not those who were born with the most talent, but those who developed a mindset that allowed them to persist through obstacles, failures, and setbacks. One of the biggest ways we hold ourselves back is through self-doubt. We tell ourselves stories about what we can and cannot do. I'm not good at public speaking. I've never been a leader. I don't have the skills to start my own business. These thoughts are not facts. They are beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. The moment we recognize that our thoughts are not reality, we gain the power to rewrite them. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," we can begin to say, "I haven't learned this yet." That small shift in language changes everything because it moves us from limitation to possibility. Another key part of developing a powerful mindset is reframing challenges. Often when we face obstacles, we see them as roadblocks. We think this is too hard, or maybe this isn't meant for me. But the truth is, challenges are not stop signs. They are growth opportunities. Every challenge we overcome strengthens us. Every difficult situation we navigate builds resilience. When we reframe difficulties as stepping stones rather than barriers, we begin to see progress even in the midst of struggle. Think of the most successful people in history. Leaders, innovators, athletes, artists. They all faced setbacks. They all experienced failure. The difference is that they did not let those moments define them. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before successfully inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest players of all time. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job before becoming a media mogul. What do all these people have in common? They believed in their ability to grow. They had a mindset that allowed them to turn failure into feedback rather than finality. Another critical aspect of mindset is how we handle criticism. Many of us fear criticism because we equate it with rejection. When someone tells us that we need to improve, we take it as a personal attack rather than as valuable input. But if we shift our perspective, we can see criticism as a gift. It is information that can help us improve. The best leaders and performers in the world actively seek feedback because they understand that it is the key to getting better. Instead of avoiding criticism, we should embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Mindset also plays a crucial role in how we set and pursue goals. People with a limited mindset often set small, safe goals because they fear failure. They only attempt things they are already confident they can achieve. But people with a growth mindset set ambitious goals because they understand that even if they do not achieve them right away, they will grow in the process. They see success as a journey rather than a destination. They do not wait until they feel ready to start. They take action and adjust along the way. One of the biggest mindset shifts we can make is moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. A scarcity mindset believes that opportunities are limited, that success is a zero-sum game, and that if someone else wins, we lose. This kind of thinking leads to jealousy, fear, and hesitation. An abundance mindset, on the other hand, believes that opportunities are limitless, that success is not just for a select few, and that we can create more opportunities through effort and collaboration. People with an abundance mindset are more willing to take risks, more open to learning, and more generous with their knowledge and support. Developing a strong mindset also requires managing our inner dialogue. We all have an internal voice that either lifts us up or drags us down. The words we tell ourselves matter. If we constantly tell ourselves that we are not capable, not talented, not worthy, we will start to believe it. But if we consciously choose to replace those thoughts with empowering beliefs, we can shift our mindset in a way that transforms our actions and results. Instead of saying, "I'll never be able to do this," we can say, "I am learning how to do this." Instead of saying, "I always fail," we can say, "Every failure is making me stronger." These small shifts add up over time and create a new reality. The company we keep also plays a significant role in shaping our mindset. If we surround ourselves with people who are constantly negative, who doubt themselves, who see obstacles instead of opportunities, it will influence our own thinking. But if we surround ourselves with people who encourage growth, who embrace challenges, and who push themselves to be better, we will start to adopt that mindset as well. This is why successful people are intentional about who they spend their time with. They seek out mentors, coaches, and peers who challenge them to think bigger and do better. At the core of mindset is the belief that we are in control of our own growth. We may not be able to control every circumstance, but we can control how we respond. We can choose to see setbacks as opportunities, to view effort as the path to mastery, and to recognize that our potential is not fixed. When we adopt this mindset, we stop waiting for permission to take action. We stop holding ourselves back with fear and hesitation, and we step into our potential and start creating the life we want. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to be limited by their past, their failures, or their fears. They understand that success is not about having all the answers, it is about having the right mindset. And the best part? That mindset is something we all have the power to develop. It starts with one simple choice: to believe in our ability to grow, to embrace challenges as opportunities, and to take action despite uncertainty. When we do that, we unlock a level of potential we never thought possible. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. It is hardwired into our brains as a survival mechanism designed to protect us from danger. However, in today's world, fear is rarely about physical threats. Instead, it manifests as fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, and fear of uncertainty. These fears hold us back from reaching our full potential, keeping us stuck in a cycle of hesitation and self-doubt. The truth is, fear itself is not the enemy. The real problem is how we respond to it. Fear can either paralyze us or propel us forward, and the difference lies in our perspective. When we reframe fear as a signal for growth rather than a reason to stop, we open ourselves up to incredible opportunities. One of the most common fears that hold people back is the fear of failure. Many of us were taught from a young age that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. We associate failure with shame, disappointment, and inadequacy. But the reality is that failure is an essential part of success. Every great innovator, leader, and entrepreneur has failed multiple times before achieving success. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of the process. If we look at the most successful people in the world, we will see that they have all encountered setbacks, made mistakes, and faced rejection. The difference is that they did not let those failures define them. Instead, they used them as learning experiences, refining their strategies and growing stronger with each setback. Fear of failure often stops people from even trying. The thought of not succeeding becomes so overwhelming that they convince themselves it is better not to take the risk at all. But what if we shifted our mindset? What if, instead of seeing failure as a sign to stop, we saw it as feedback? When a scientist conducts an experiment, they do not view unexpected results as failure. They see them as valuable information. Every time something does not work, it brings them one step closer to discovering what does. This is how we should approach life. Every setback is a lesson. Every mistake is a chance to improve. Every failure is a stepping stone to success. Another powerful fear that holds people back is the fear of judgment. We are social beings, and from a young age we are conditioned to seek approval from others. We want to fit in, to be accepted, and to avoid criticism. But when we allow the fear of judgment to dictate our actions, we give away our power. We start making decisions based on what others think rather than what truly matters to us. The most successful people in the world did not achieve greatness by seeking approval. They did it by following their vision, even when others doubted them. If you look at history, some of the most groundbreaking ideas were initially met with skepticism or even ridicule. When the Wright brothers pursued human flight, people called them crazy. When Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, many experts dismissed it as impractical. If these innovators had let the fear of judgment stop them, the world would have missed out on incredible advancements. So how do we overcome the fear of judgment? First, we must recognize that people's opinions are just that, opinions. They are not facts. Everyone sees the world through their own lens, shaped by their experiences, beliefs, and biases. What someone thinks about you is more a reflection of them than of you. Second, we must remind ourselves that no matter what we do, there will always be people who disagree, criticize, or misunderstand us. It is impossible to please everyone, so we might as well focus on doing what is right for us. The moment we stop seeking external validation and start trusting our own judgment, we gain an incredible sense of freedom. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear is through action. Fear thrives in inaction. The more we hesitate, the bigger our fears become. But when we take action, even small steps, we begin to realize that most of our fears were exaggerated. Action builds confidence. When we do something that scares us and survive it, we prove to ourselves that we are stronger than we thought. Each time we step outside our comfort zone, we expand it. What once seemed impossible becomes normal. Another critical element that influences our ability to overcome fear and grow is our environment. The people we surround ourselves with play a significant role in shaping our mindset, beliefs, and behaviors. If we spend most of our time around people who are negative, risk-averse, or constantly complaining, we will inevitably adopt the same mindset. But if we surround ourselves with people who are ambitious, optimistic, and action-oriented, we will start thinking and behaving differently. Environment is one of the most underestimated factors in personal growth. We like to believe that we are independent thinkers, but in reality, we are deeply influenced by those around us. If we want to grow, we must be intentional about the company we keep. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they encouraging you to become better, take risks, and pursue your goals? Or are they holding you back with doubt, negativity, and limiting beliefs? If you want to achieve something great, you need to surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. This does not mean cutting people out of your life entirely, but it does mean prioritizing relationships that support your growth. Seek out mentors, join communities of like-minded individuals, and learn from those who have already achieved what you aspire to. The right environment can make all the difference. Another aspect of environment is the kind of information we consume. What we read, watch, and listen to shapes our beliefs and attitudes. If we constantly consume negative news, social media comparisons, and content that reinforces fear and doubt, our mindset will reflect that. But if we fill our minds with inspiring stories, educational material, and positive influences, we will start seeing new possibilities. Personal growth is not just about what we do, it is also about what we feed our minds. The importance of environment extends beyond people and information. It also includes our daily habits and routines. Small habits, repeated consistently, shape our identity and determine our success. If we want to develop a growth mindset, we need habits that reinforce it. This could mean journaling about our progress, practicing gratitude, setting goals, or challenging ourselves to try new things regularly. Growth does not happen in a single moment. It is the result of consistent, intentional effort over time. Ultimately, overcoming fear and surrounding ourselves with the right environment are 2 of the most powerful ways to stop holding ourselves back. Fear will never completely disappear, but we can learn to move forward despite it. Environment will always influence us, but we can choose to create one that supports our growth. When we make these 2 shifts, we unlock a level of potential we never thought possible. We stop waiting for the perfect moment. We stop holding ourselves back with doubt and hesitation. We step into our true potential and start creating the life we are meant to live. Growth begins the moment we realize that we are in control of our own progress. The biggest obstacle most people face is not external circumstances, but their own limitations that exist in their minds. We tell ourselves stories about what we can and cannot do, often without questioning whether those stories are true. The reality is that the greatest breakthroughs happen when we challenge those self-imposed limits and push beyond what we once believed was possible. Too many people remain stuck in the same patterns, not because they lack the ability to change, but because they have convinced themselves that they cannot. They settle for less than they are capable of because stepping into the unknown feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Every time we push past our comfort zone, we expand our capacity to achieve more. One of the biggest reasons people hold themselves back is the fear of imperfection. We live in a world that often equates success with perfection. We see highly curated images on social media, read about people's achievements, and rarely see the struggles, mistakes, and failures that happen behind the scenes. This creates an illusion that success is only for those who get everything right on the first try. The fear of not doing something perfectly stops many people from even starting. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances, but perfection is an illusion. The truth is, no one has it all figured out. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person started without knowing everything. What separates those who achieve great things from those who don't is not perfection, it's action. Taking action, even when things aren't perfect, is what leads to improvement, growth, and success. We must learn to embrace imperfection as part of the process. Mistakes are not failures, they are lessons. The most successful people in the world are not those who avoid mistakes, but those who learn from them. When we shift our mindset from I have to get it right to I have to get started, everything changes. The first attempt at anything is rarely perfect, but it is necessary. Progress is built on imperfect action. A writer does not create a masterpiece on their first draft. An athlete does not become a champion after their first practice. A leader does not gain confidence before taking their first step. Confidence is built through action, not before it. When we embrace the idea that imperfection is part of growth, we stop waiting and start doing. Another common reason people hold themselves back is comparison. It is easy to look at others who are further ahead and feel discouraged. We see their success, but we do not see the years of effort, the struggles, and the failures they faced along the way. Comparison creates a false perception that we are behind, that we are not as good, or that we will never catch up. But the only comparison that truly matters is the one between who we are today and who we were yesterday. Growth is not about being better than someone else. It is about being better than we were before. Each of us has a unique path, unique strengths, and unique challenges. When we focus on our own progress rather than someone else's success, we gain control over our journey. Social media has amplified the comparison trap, making it easy to feel like we are not doing enough. We see highlight reels of other people's lives and measure them against our behind-the-scenes struggles. But social media is not reality. It is a carefully curated selection of moments designed to showcase the best parts. No one posts about their failures, self-doubt, or struggles in the same way they post about their wins. This creates an unrealistic standard that can make people feel like they are constantly falling short. But when we shift our focus from external validation to internal growth, we regain our power. The only real measure of success is progress. Did you take a step forward today? Did you improve, even in a small way? If the answer is yes, you are winning. A powerful way to break free from comparison is to redefine success. Many people define success based on external achievements, money, status, recognition. But true success is about fulfillment, growth, and making a meaningful impact. When we base our self-worth on external factors, we give control of our happiness to things outside of ourselves. But when we define success on our own terms, we create a path that is meaningful and sustainable. Success is not a destination. It is a continuous process of becoming the best version of ourselves. Another major factor that holds people back is their relationship with discomfort. Most people avoid discomfort because it feels unpleasant. They choose the familiar, even when it is not fulfilling, because the unknown feels risky. But everything we want in life is on the other side of discomfort. Growth requires stepping into the unknown, facing uncertainty, and embracing challenges. The most successful people are not those who avoid discomfort, but those who learn to navigate it. They understand that discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is a sign of progress. Every major breakthrough in life comes from pushing through discomfort. The first time speaking in public feels awkward and nerve-wracking, but with practice, it becomes easier. The first time learning a new skill feels frustrating, but with persistence, it turns into mastery. The first time facing rejection stings, but over time, it builds resilience. Discomfort is not the enemy, it is a sign that we are growing. When we learn to sit with discomfort rather than run from it, we unlock a new level of strength and capability. Building resilience is one of the most important skills for overcoming discomfort. Resilience is not about avoiding challenges, but about facing them head-on and growing stronger in the process. It is the ability to keep going even when things are difficult. Resilience is built through experience, by taking on challenges, adapting to setbacks, and learning from adversity. Every time we face something difficult and push through, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling more than we thought. One of the best ways to develop resilience is to shift our perspective on challenges. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, we can view them as opportunities. Every challenge is a chance to learn, to improve, and to become stronger. When we adopt this mindset, we stop fearing difficulties and start embracing them as part of the journey. Challenges are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones to greater achievements. At the core of overcoming self-imposed limitations is taking ownership of our lives. Too many people wait for permission, wait for the right time, or wait for someone else to make things easier. But waiting does not create progress, action does. Taking ownership means recognizing that we are responsible for our growth, our success, and our happiness. It means refusing to let fear, comparison, or discomfort dictate our actions. It means choosing to take control even when things feel uncertain. When we stop holding ourselves back, we step into a life of possibility. We realize that we are capable of more than we imagined. We embrace imperfection, focus on our own progress, and redefine success on our own terms. We push through discomfort, build resilience, and take full ownership of our journey. And when we do that, we unlock a future filled with growth, fulfillment, and limitless potential. Taking control of our lives begins with understanding that our mindset shapes our reality. The way we think, the beliefs we hold, and the narratives we tell ourselves all determine how we navigate challenges, opportunities, and success. Too often, people remain stuck in unfulfilling situations not because they lack talent, intelligence, or potential, but because they have unknowingly adopted limiting beliefs that hold them back. These beliefs are often formed early in life, shaped by past experiences, societal expectations, or the influence of others. When we internalize these limiting beliefs, they become self-imposed barriers that prevent us from pursuing our dreams, taking risks, or stepping into our full potential. But the truth is, these beliefs are not facts. They are stories we have accepted as truth. And just as they were learned, one of the most common limiting beliefs is the idea that we are not enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not experienced enough. This belief leads to self-doubt and hesitation, making us question whether we are capable of achieving our goals. But if we look at history, we will see that every great achiever started as a beginner. No one is born with all the skills, knowledge, or confidence they need to succeed. Every successful person has faced moments of self-doubt, yet they chose to move forward anyway. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not a lack of self-doubt. It is the willingness to act despite it. When we reframe self-doubt as a normal part of growth, rather than a reason to stop, we take back control. Instead of asking, "Am I good enough?" we can ask, "How can I learn and improve?" Growth is not about having all the answers. It is about having the courage to seek them. Another powerful way to break free from limiting beliefs is to question their validity. Often we accept certain beliefs as truth simply because we have never challenged them. But where did these beliefs come from? Are they based on facts, or are they assumptions we have internalized? For example, if someone believes they are bad at public speaking, they might avoid opportunities to speak in front of others. But is that belief truly accurate, or is it based on a past experience where they felt nervous or stumbled over their words? The reality is, public speaking is a skill that can be developed with practice. The same applies to any area of life, whether it is leadership, creativity, entrepreneurship, or personal growth. When we challenge our limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering ones, we open up new possibilities for growth and achievement. Another major factor that holds people back is the fear of stepping into the unknown. Human beings are naturally wired to seek comfort and security. We prefer what is familiar, even when it is not fulfilling, because the unknown feels risky. But growth and success require stepping into uncertainty. The most transformative experiences in life happen outside of our comfort zones. Whether it is starting a new business, pursuing a passion, or making a major life change, every breakthrough begins with a leap into the unknown. The fear of uncertainty can be overwhelming, but it can also be managed. The key is to shift our perspective. Instead of seeing uncertainty as something to be feared, we can see it as an opportunity for discovery. Every time we take a step into the unknown, we gain new experiences, skills, and insights. What once seemed terrifying becomes familiar. What once felt impossible becomes achievable. One of the most effective ways to build confidence in the face of uncertainty is through action. Confidence is not something we are born with, it is something we build through experience. The more we take action, the more we prove to ourselves that we are capable. Each time we face a challenge and overcome it, we strengthen our belief in ourselves. The problem is that many people wait for confidence before they take action, not realizing that confidence comes from taking action. If we wait until we feel ready, we will be waiting forever. The most successful people are not those who never feel fear or doubt. They are the ones who take action despite it. Action creates momentum. The first step is always the hardest, but once we take it, the path becomes clearer. Another common way people hold themselves back is by waiting for the perfect time to start. We convince ourselves that we need more experience, more resources, or better circumstances before we can take action. But the perfect time does not exist. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and uncertainties. If we keep waiting for everything to be perfect, we will never start. Progress is not about perfection, it is about movement. The most successful people do not wait for the right time, they create the right time by taking action. Every great achievement begins with a single step. The key is to start where we are, with what we have, and trust that we will figure things out along the way. One of the most underestimated factors in personal growth is the power of habits. Our daily habits shape our future more than any single decision. Success is not the result of one big moment. It is the accumulation of small, consistent actions over time. If we want to change our lives, we must start by changing our habits. The problem is that many people focus too much on motivation and not enough on discipline. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes, but discipline, building habits that support our goals, creates lasting change. Small habits, repeated consistently, lead to massive results. If we improve by just 1% every day, the impact over time is extraordinary. Whether it is reading, exercising, networking, or learning, small daily actions create momentum that leads to long-term success. Another important factor in breaking through self-imposed limitations is surrounding ourselves with the right people. We are deeply influenced by the people we spend the most time with. If we are surrounded by negativity, doubt, and fear, we will absorb those mindsets. But if we surround ourselves with people who inspire, challenge, and support us, we will adopt a mindset of growth and possibility. The right environment makes success easier. This is why mentorship, peer groups, and personal development communities are so powerful. Being around people who believe in growth pushes us to level up. Ultimately, breaking free from self-imposed limitations is about taking ownership of our lives. No one else is responsible for our success, our happiness, or our fulfillment. We are. It is easy to blame circumstances, past experiences, or other people for our struggles, but the moment we take full responsibility for our lives is the moment everything changes. Ownership means recognizing that we have the power to change our thoughts, our actions, and our future. It means letting go of excuses and focusing on solutions. It means committing to growth even when it is uncomfortable. When we stop waiting, stop doubting, and stop seeking perfection, we unlock our full potential. We stop holding ourselves back and start moving forward. We realize that our fears were never as powerful as we thought, that uncertainty is an opportunity rather than a threat, and that the only real limits are the ones we place on ourselves. When we take action, challenge our beliefs, and surround ourselves with the right people, we create a life of purpose, progress, and limitless possibility. The question is not whether we are ready. The question is whether we are willing to take the first step, because once we do, we discover that we were capable all along. Taking control of our lives begins with recognizing that we are often our own greatest obstacle. The biggest limitations we face are not external, they exist in our minds. We tell ourselves stories about who we are, what we are capable of, and what is or is not possible. These stories shape our reality, dictating the choices we make, the risks we take, and the opportunities we pursue. But here's the truth. Those stories are not facts. They are beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. Every time we challenge a self-imposed limitation, we expand our potential. The only thing standing between where we are and where we want to be is the courage to challenge the beliefs that hold us back. One of the most common ways people hold themselves back is by waiting for permission. We live in a world that conditions us to seek approval before taking action. From an early age, we are taught to follow the rules, ask for validation, and play it safe. This mindset follows us into adulthood, making us hesitant to pursue our dreams unless someone else tells us it's okay. We wait for the right timing, for someone to recognize our potential, or for circumstances to align perfectly. But the people who achieve great things in life do not wait for permission. They take ownership of their vision, trust their instincts, and take action. The moment we stop seeking external validation and start believing in ourselves is the moment everything changes. Another major factor that holds people back is the fear of failure. We have been taught to see failure as something to be avoided at all costs, as if failing is a reflection of our worth. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every breakthrough, every innovation, and every great achievement has been built on a foundation of failures. The most successful people are not those who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to let failure stop them. They see failure as feedback, as a learning experience, as a necessary step toward mastery. When we reframe failure as a teacher rather than a verdict, we stop being afraid to take risks. The reality is that failure is inevitable. No one gets everything right on the first try. The question is not whether we will fail. The question is whether we will use failure to grow. Fear of judgment is another common reason people hold themselves back. We worry about what others will think, about being criticized, about standing out too much. This fear can be paralyzing, making us shrink ourselves to fit into expectations that do not serve us. But the truth is, no matter what we do, people will always have opinions. We cannot control how others perceive us, but we can control how much we let their opinions influence our decisions. When we live for the approval of others, we give away our power. But when we focus on our own values, goals, and purpose, we reclaim it. The most fulfilling lives are lived by those who are willing to be different, to take risks, and to stay true to themselves despite external pressure. Many people remain stuck in the same patterns because they underestimate the power of consistency. We often look at successful individuals and assume they achieved their results through a single big breakthrough. But success is not the result of one massive action. It is the outcome of small, consistent actions repeated over time. The habits we build determine the results we get. If we want to change our lives, we must start by changing what we do daily. A single workout does not make someone fit, just as one productive day does not lead to success. But when small actions are repeated consistently, they compound into extraordinary results. The key to long-term growth is not motivation, it is discipline. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes, but discipline, the ability to show up and put in the work, even when we don't feel like it, is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Another important factor in overcoming self-imposed limitations is recognizing the power of environment. The people we surround ourselves with, the content we consume, and the habits we develop all influence our mindset and trajectory. If we are surrounded by negativity, doubt, and mediocrity, we will absorb those qualities. But if we are surrounded by people who inspire us, challenge us, and push us to grow, we will rise to meet their level. This is why mentorship, personal development, and community are so important. No one achieves success alone. The right environment makes it easier to stay focused, motivated, and committed to growth. If we want to elevate our lives, we must be intentional about who and what we allow to influence us. Stepping into our full potential requires embracing discomfort. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. Every time we push beyond our comfort zone, we expand our capabilities. Discomfort is not a sign that we should stop. It is a sign that we are evolving. Whether it is learning a new skill, taking on a challenge, or facing a fear, every significant achievement comes from doing something that once felt uncomfortable. The key is to develop a mindset that welcomes discomfort rather than avoids it. When we train ourselves to lean into discomfort, we become unstoppable. Taking responsibility for our lives is one of the most empowering choices we can make. It is easy to blame circumstances, other people, or external factors for why we are not where we want to be. But the moment we take full ownership of our growth, success, and happiness, we gain control over our future. Ownership means recognizing that no one else is responsible for our progress. We are. It means letting go of excuses and focusing on solutions. It means making the decision to show up, do the work, and refuse to settle for less than we are capable of. The most powerful shift we can make is choosing action over thinking. Many people spend their lives trapped in their own minds, analyzing, planning, and second-guessing. They wait for certainty, for the perfect plan, for the fear to disappear, but thinking alone does not create results. Action does. The most successful people do not wait until they have everything figured out. They take action, learn from experience, adjust along the way, and keep moving forward. Clarity comes from doing, not from thinking. The best way to overcome self-doubt is to prove to ourselves through action that we are capable. When we stop waiting for permission, stop fearing failure, stop seeking external validation, and start taking full ownership of our lives, everything changes. We realize that the only limits that truly exist are the ones we accept. We understand that confidence is not something we wait for, it is something we build. We recognize that success is not a single event, but the result of consistent effort over time. And we step into a future filled with growth, achievement, and purpose. The only thing standing between where we are and where we want to be is the decision to start. Because once we take that first step, we realize that we were capable all along. Taking control of our lives begins with understanding that we are often the ones holding ourselves back. We get trapped in cycles of self-doubt, fear, and hesitation, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for someone to give us permission, or waiting for circumstances to change. But the truth is, the only way to break free is to take responsibility for our actions, challenge our limiting beliefs, and step into the discomfort of growth. Success is not about luck, talent, or waiting for the right opportunity. It is about making a decision to move forward despite uncertainty. The people who achieve great things in life are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who choose to take action, embrace failure as part of the journey, and refuse to settle for anything less than what they are capable of achieving. One of the most common ways people hold themselves back is by waiting for the perfect moment. We convince ourselves that we need more time, more experience, or better circumstances before we can take action, but the perfect moment does not exist. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and uncertainties. If we keep waiting for everything to align perfectly, we will never start. The people who create meaningful change in their lives are the ones who take action despite imperfect conditions. They start where they are with what they have and trust that they will figure things out along the way. The first step is always the hardest, but once we take it, the path begins to reveal itself. Growth is not about knowing everything from the start. It is about having the courage to begin. Another major factor that holds people back is the fear of failure. We have been conditioned to see failure as a reflection of our worth rather than as a natural part of progress. But the most successful individuals in history have all failed repeatedly. They understand that failure is not a stopping point, it is a stepping stone. Every failure brings valuable lessons, resilience, and experience. When we embrace failure as a teacher rather than a verdict, we free ourselves from the paralysis of perfectionism. The real failure is not in trying and falling short, it is in never trying at all. The more we reframe failure as a necessary step towards success, the more willing we become to take risks, learn, and grow. Fear of judgment is another significant barrier to personal growth. We worry about what others will think, how they will perceive us, and whether we will be criticized. This fear often leads us to play small, suppress our ambitions, and conform to expectations that do not align with our true desires. But the truth is, no matter what we do, people will always have opinions. We cannot control how others see us, but we can control how much we allow their judgments to influence our decision. The most successful and fulfilled people are not those who avoid criticism, but those who remain true to their vision despite it. The moment we stop seeking approval from others and start prioritizing our own purpose, we take back control of our lives. One of the most underestimated factors in achieving success is the power of habits. We often look at successful people and assume they achieved their results through one massive breakthrough. But real success is built on the foundation of small, consistent actions over time. It is not about sudden inspiration. It is about daily discipline. The habits we cultivate shape our future far more than any single decision we make. If we want to change our lives, we must start by changing what we do every day. The key to long-term success is not motivation, which comes and goes. It is commitment. When we make small improvements consistently, the results compound over time. A tiny 1% improvement every day leads to extraordinary progress in the long run. Success is not about making drastic changes overnight. It is about showing up every day and putting in the work. Another reason people hold themselves back is because they underestimate the power of their environment. The people we surround ourselves with, the content we consume, and the habits we engage in all influence our mindset and behavior. If we are surrounded by negativity, doubt, and complacency, we will absorb those qualities. But if we immerse ourselves in environments that encourage growth, challenge us to think bigger, and push us to take action, we will rise to the occasion. This is why mentorship, personal development, and supportive communities are so valuable. No one achieves success alone. The right environment makes success easier and more natural. If we want to elevate our lives, we must be intentional about the influences we allow into our daily experience. Stepping into our full potential requires embracing discomfort. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. Every time we push beyond our comfort zone, we expand our abilities and discover what we are truly capable of. Discomfort is not a sign that we are failing, it is a sign that we are growing. Whether it is learning a new skill, taking on a challenge, or facing a fear, every meaningful achievement comes from doing something that once felt uncomfortable. The key is to develop a mindset that welcomes discomfort rather than avoids it. The most successful individuals train themselves to see discomfort as an opportunity rather than a threat. When we lean into discomfort, we build resilience, confidence, and momentum. Taking full ownership of our lives is one of the most transformative decisions we can make. It is easy to blame circumstances, past experiences, or external factors for why we are not where we want to be. But the moment we take responsibility for our growth, success, and happiness, we take back control. Ownership means recognizing that no one else is responsible for our future. We are. It means letting go of excuses and focusing on solutions. It means making the decision to show up, take action, and refuse to settle for less than our full potential. The most successful people are not those who never face obstacles, but those who refuse to let obstacles define them. They adapt, learn, and keep moving forward no matter what. The most powerful shift we can make is choosing action over thinking. Many people get stuck in analysis paralysis, spending their time planning, researching, and second-guessing rather than taking action. They wait for certainty, for the perfect plan, for the fear to disappear. But thinking alone does not create results. Action does. The most successful people do not wait until they have all the answers. They take action, learn from experience, and adjust along the way. Clarity comes from doing, not from thinking. The best way to overcome self-doubt is to prove to ourselves through action that we are capable. The more we act, the more confident we become. The first step is always the hardest, but once we take it, momentum carries us forward. When we stop waiting for permission, stop fearing failure, stop seeking external validation, and start taking full ownership of our lives, everything changes. We realize that the only limits that truly exist are the ones we accept. We understand that confidence is not something we wait for, it is something we build. We recognize that success is not a single event, but the result of consistent effort over time. And we step into a future filled with growth, achievement, and purpose. The only thing standing between where we are and where we want to be is the decision to start. Because once we take that first step, we realize that we were capable all along.